He good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
All-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters I think since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Terence Crawford's incredible training for the Canelo bout left Errol Spence speechless. Errol recognized Crawford's superior skill set and ring IQ after sharing the ring with him. Errol was amazed by Crawford's quickness, accuracy, and deft footwork during his most recent workout. Terence appeared to be a moving monster, laser-focused, sharp, and explosive. Canelo must not undervalue this hazardous version of Crawford. Come on over here. Roll. There was obvious respect between the two world-class fighters when Terence Crawford thought back on his fight with Errol Spence. Crawford stressed how he methodically wears out his opponents before throwing devastating bursts of punches. Crawford is renowned for his patience and intelligent fighting technique.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
And given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right, yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him like knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him like wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening. And those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
When contrasting Crawford with Canelo Alvarez, former world champion and pundit Chris Algieri offered a perceptive viewpoint. Algieri claims that whereas Crawford has routinely outclassed his opponents and kept control of almost every fight, Canelo has had times when he was clearly outclassed, a situation known to boxing experts as getting bossed. The bout was dominated by Dimitri Bivol's stature, jab, and discipline, as demonstrated in Canelo's defeat. Algieri's argument bolsters the idea that Crawford has a style based on control, flexibility, and technical supremacy while gaining weight, historically problematic traits for even seasoned champs like Canelo
and Terence Crawford. Who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around. Yep. Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford, looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that, but I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So if we're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that and psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights, and Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets When he gets that in his head that, he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Fair analysis. Veteran pundit Max Kellerman said that although both Crawford and Canelo have special advantages, Crawford has the upper hand when considering recent results and skill set. Crawford's timing, switch hitting skills, and knockout power have all reached remarkable peaks in recent years, Kellerman noted. Canelo, on the other hand, has appeared to slow down, especially in his movement and aggression. Despite still being an exceptional athlete, Canelo's size advantage, which might be crucial in clinches and trading blows, was not disregarded by Kellerman either. However, Kellerman tended to favor Crawford as the more complete and more skilled fighter when evaluating the entirety of tools, speed, precision, defense, and adaptability.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guay.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
This massive fight's dynamics are amazing. By increasing his weight, Crawford is, on the one hand, venturing into uncharted terrain, which often puts speed and endurance at danger. Canelo, on the other hand, is no longer the explosive force he once was despite his level of experience. Canelo has struggled to get knockouts in recent bouts, preferring cautious management to the all-out pressure of his former career. This implies that although Crawford will be put to the test physically, Canelo's personal deterioration in some areas slightly evens the playing field. Crawford undoubtedly has a route to victory if he brings his best, razor-sharp footwork, superior ring IQ, and endurance.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class, and in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Abdullah Mason, a young and up-and-coming boxing prospect, voiced faith in Crawford and predicted a victory that would stun many onlookers. He stressed that the world can be caught off guard by Crawford's power, which is frequently undervalued. The prevailing narrative has been on Canelo's stature, which makes him the superior fighter. Mason's realization, however, contradicts that notion, implying that Crawford's capacity to produce force through time, angles, and accuracy may have even more effect. Mason's forecast might come to pass if Crawford can connect frequently and cleanly, particularly in the latter rounds.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Terence Crawford was praised by Dimitri Bivol, who just dealt Canelo a defeat. After seeing Crawford up close, Bivol said, "Terence has put on a lot of muscle, has the skills he needs to win this bout." Bivol's viewpoint is significant. He thinks Crawford has the ability to defeat Canelo because he knows what it takes. He emphasized Crawford's knowledge, speed, and discipline as important qualities. It is a clue that this bout is far more competitive than it might seem on paper when someone of Bill's caliber supports a boxer.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jamel Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously
Keith Thurman provided a thoughtful analysis of this confrontation. Although the fight can appear even to casual spectators, he admitted that a closer technical examination exposes significant asymmetries. Thurman brought up Canelo's latest fight with Errol Charlo, pointing out how Canelo found it difficult to keep up with Charlo's clever use of movement and footwork. Canelo was the aggressor, but once Charlo began using ring IQ, he was unable to land with authority or cut the ring. Thurman used this to imply that Crawford, who is even more intelligent and cunning than Charlo, may cause Canelo to face comparable, if not more, challenges.
And, you know, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great, but by the end of the day, one will be above the other. Your eyes? It's not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot, okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being, you know, attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.